All right, good morning, guys. Melissa here. I am feeling 100% better than I did yesterday. Yesterday, I was totally drained after having my period. I also didn't realize I had caught something. So I had like a sore throat and just was not feeling good. Flu type symptoms. So I had like been hit yesterday a lot with stuff, but I got my rest, feeling better. So I want to talk about Brooke Shields right now. I watched a video last night about her life, and I followed her a little bit in life, but not much. And I was familiar with like Blue Lagoon, but I didn't know her backstory. Her mother, so Brooke Shields was born 1965, so she's 5 years older than me. So let's go back. What you're talking, 20 years before that, or a little less. Her mother had been pregnant and almost aborted Brooke. I guess Brooke's father was a very wealthy man. The family wanted to protect him, and they wanted her mother to abort her. I think she took the money and she lied to them, and she still had Brooke, which thank goodness she did, right? Brooke Shields is an amazing person. So, as I'm watching the story, what I didn't realize is that her mother had groomed her. She had been Brooke Shields at 10 years old in a magazine, and I won't say it because we are being monetized or censored. 10 years old, she was in a magazine. And then her movie Pretty Baby, I think she was 12 years old playing a woman who, had a career at night. Let's put it that way. So she was definitely groomed, I guess, to this day. I haven't read her book yet, and I think I will. How she still defends her mother, and although she was a victim of things in a lot of things, she hasn't really. Some people say she hasn't healed yet. She hasn't really dealt with stuff. Like she has said, I would never do that to my daughters. I would never put them in a movie like that. I would never have them go through what she went through. So she knows it was wrong, but she hasn't really, I guess, come to terms from what I'm hearing with what was done to her. So, one of the most insulting things I ever had said to me was, you couldn't have been forced with an abortion because you weren't like in the you weren't sex traded. It's like, wow, really? Now that culture that Brooke was brought up in, I can understand that. Like back then, mothers had authority over their daughters. You did what your mother said. You did. My grandmother, although I loved her to pieces, she was a mummy dearest to my mother. It's just the way it was. You did what your mother said. My mother definitely wanted an abortion for me, along with my father, along with my boyfriend's parents. Come to find out, I looked up my boyfriend's mother the other day on Facebook, and I'm like, wow, she actually goes to church. I'm like, wow. So I didn't really know her. I didn't really know the family that well. I dated this guy for a year, and his sister I knew a little bit better, but I'm like, wow, she was a church woman, and this is what happened. So, it's all over the place, abortion. And it's really amazing for me to see women older than me who had an abortion. So mine was forced. I'm right in the middle. I'm right in the middle. I did not have a choice. I didn't have a choice to like say, oh, this is an abortion and I think I want one or I don't want one. I didn't even know what an abortion was. I knew I was in trouble, and I better listen to my mother, who was like really mad that I was pregnant. I didn't have, what's the word? I didn't get to really choose what I believed. And along with Brooke, I can understand where she's coming from. You just do what you're told to do. You just do what you know. So that was really interesting for me to see not only Brooke's childhood and the trauma that led up to some of her choices. And of course, as a kid, 14 years old, she's doing movies. She's not going to know better. you know, it is what it is. She didn't know, so you can't really blame her for some of that. And same thing when you are a victim of trauma. There were a lot of choices before that had happened. There is a huge amount of stuff we still don't know about girls who either are forced, coerced, or talked into abortion. You have to look at the mother's background. You have to look at so much more. So that's what I got for today. I do not feel that I definitely am someone who feels the doctor, the abortionist, should definitely be in prison. But I don't feel all women should be in prison. I think there is a lot to it. I just had a guy comment about my pro-life stance on some channel I left a comment on. I think it was whatever. But anyways, he's like, what right does anyone have to give someone the death penalty for killing a baby? My question to him was, what right does anyone have to take an innocent baby's life? Same thing. I mean, I saw a little boy yesterday with a bloody nose in the laundry room. And I felt so bad for him because before his mother could get to him, she was doing laundry and the blood is coming out his nose. I guess it's a condition he has already. But it's on his hands. And, you know, that was hard for me to see. I was like so impulsively, you know, I looked for something in my dryer to help clean up his nose, impulsively wanting to naturally clean him up. And look at these pictures of abortion, of these babies bloodied all over the place with abortion. How can we do this to babies? How can we do this? I don't know. I know we, like back to Brooke Shields, she was raised in that culture and that's the way it was. We do have to look at the way certain cultures were. You can't blame certain things for things we know now, but we shouldn't be doing this anymore. We do know better. We have the technology and we know. So we need to move forward and definitely abolish abortion. And not only that, but now I think it's the UN who is saying it's okay for adults to have sex with kids. This is disgusting, the way we are sterilizing our children with all these operations is awful too. And I think it was Musk who just said he is concerned about the death rate. You know, we're not producing enough people. What's going to happen to civilization? That's a good question. Thanks for joining me, guys.